Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's very special Agent Secrets presentation. My name is Kristie, and thank you all for being here with me today. We have got some exciting content for you, and on that topic, we are going to be discussing content and how to really position yourself as the local expert. So I'm going to be going through the local authority blueprint and how to build your reputation as the go-to agent in your target market, which is exactly what you guys all want, probably what you already are. People just don't know it yet. That's the problem. Okay, you are an expert. You've got lots of information to share. You're just not getting it out there to people effectively enough, consistently enough. It needs to be consistent and it needs to be delivered effectively. So we're going to be talking today about how to do that, how to build a solid foundation and start to really engage with your audience in a way that's going to build trust and establish you as the local expert. So the problem here is a lot of you are struggling to get consistent referrals. So by the end of the session, I'm hoping that you'll have a clear 90-day blueprint that will position you as the undisputed local expert in your market. Now, I've been working with agents for over 27 years. I know a lot about marketing, lead generation, follow-up, and I also have seen a lot of agents who do this really, really well. So today I want to share with you some of the tips that I've learned over the last 27 years and how exactly we can go about doing that, executing that plan. Now, I encourage you all to feel free to ask questions. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I believe we also have Sobia on the call here. She can keep an eye on the chat as well. I think she just put in a little hello to everyone. So let's keep it interactive. If you have questions, feel free to enter them in there. I'll take a glance every now and then, and of course, make sure that they all get answered. Because that's really what the purpose of today's call is, to get you the information you need. And for me, I love teaching real estate agents how to use technology. You guys are experts in your field of selling and consulting with your clients on the best way to invest in this extremely important event of buying or selling a home. But I really love the technical side of it. And I've been teaching people just like you how to improve your business process using technology, how to improve your communication process as well. So it's that intersection between the real estate marketing and technology that is really where we excel here at Success Website. Now, if you are interested in booking a consultation, please do so. If you're not already a client, we'd be happy to walk you through the whole platform. There's no cost or obligation. We'll show you exactly how everything works. I've got my email here on the screen here, Kristie@successwebsite.com. You could send me any questions you got, or you could go ahead and book a demo or a consultation by going to successwebsite.com/management. And also our website, successwebsite.com, is where you can find all of our content about what we do, as well as view all of our past training webinars. We've got a whole Agent Secrets hub there with all of our recordings and YouTube videos and things like that. So if you want to learn more about what we do, or you want to just give yourself a little brush up on how to become a better marketer for your real estate business, check it out. Okay, so let's get into the meat of the presentation today. I want you all to just consider for a moment the financial and professional damage that it does when you are just blending in with every other real estate agent in your market. Most agents don't realize the steep price that you're paying for being undifferentiated. So we don't want you to be a secret agent. We want you to be out there and a recognized expert. So that is the referral reality check. Okay, there is definitely a hidden cost in being too general, too generic, too behind the scenes, right? We want you to be out in the forefront, and there are definitely ways that you can do that that we're going to be going through today during our blueprint. Let's start with some basic stats. I was doing a little bit of research here, looking at the NAR stats, and 38% of sellers find agents through referrals, but the typical agent only gets 21% of their business from referrals. Let me know in the chat what the ballpark is for you. How much of your business do you typically get from referrals? I often hear anywhere between 10 to 20%, which doesn't add up. If the research shows that 38% of sellers find their agents through referrals, that means there is probably a small percentage of agents out there dominating on the referrals, right? And we want you to be one of those agents. Now, here's another interesting stat. 88% of buyers would recommend their agent, yet most agents struggle for referrals. And this, to me, is the stat that really should hit home, because chances are all of the buyers that you've worked with would recommend you. The problem is you're just not top of mind. You haven't done a great job of staying in contact with them after the deal was done. So the staying in contact, the communication that happens after the deal has closed is so important to this process. And that is what is going to take you out of that generic agent, generic marketing category and unlock your referral potential. So there's going to be compound effects here, but it's really, really important to recognize that all of the buyers that you've worked with, chances are they would totally recommend you. They just haven't been thinking about you, right? So it's that top of mind agent that's going to ultimately win the referral business. The local expert advantage. So how do consumers choose which agent they will recommend? There's a lot of psychology that goes into this. It is a crucial psychological component. And it's this. The decision-making process behind referrals has a lot to do with trust and familiarity. So more than probably half of the consumers out there think trust and familiarity are extremely important factors when it comes to choosing a real estate agent. But here is the paradox. Only 11%, according again to the National Association of Realtors, only 11% of people felt they could completely trust a real estate agent. So this here is the paradox, right? More than half consumers agree that trust is extremely important when it comes to recommending a real estate agent, but only 11% felt that they could completely trust theirs. So where is the gap here? What's happening? That's what we need to really acknowledge and explore, because if that percentage is low, what our job is here as marketers is to boost that trust, but it has to be earned, right? It has to be earned. And a lot of that can be done when you are demonstrating that local expertise, going from a generic agent to an expert agent. Because at the end of the day, people want to, they want to refer businesses that they trust, and they also want to make sure that if they refer somebody to you, that you're going to do a really good job, right? That confidence level has to be there. So here's usually how people make their decisions when it comes to decide like whether or not to refer an agent. Now, buyers and sellers, they don't know everything there is to know about buying and selling, right? That is why they value the expertise. And there's no doubt that buyers and sellers do value that expertise. So the important part of this is to enter yourself into that decision-making process. And that's where becoming that local expert really gives you that advantage. Because people often refer experts, right? Not friends. And being that local authority is going to get you to that level that you need to be at. So the referral decision tree here, competence assessment, did the agent demonstrate superior knowledge? Outcome satisfaction, did they get the results that others couldn't? Expertise recognition, do I see them as the expert in the area? Confidence to recommend, am I confident they will deliver for my referrals? So that's a big one. That confidence really has to be there. So let's get into the 4 pillars of local authority. I'm going to break it down for you. So people fear referring mediocre service providers. And a local expert, they have a clear specialization, which means there's a lower referral risk for the person who is referring. So if you have stories, specific knowledge, things that you can share with your audience, that makes it much easier for people to identify you as that local authority. Communication importance is so heightened in today's market. That is something that I think you really will want to lean into. And whether that's through email marketing, video, text message, communication is very important. But the way that you communicate and what you communicate is also extremely important. So let's talk about content and communication. Pillar 1, hyper-local content mastery. Neighborhood-specific content trumps general real estate advice. So if you can get hyper-local and pick neighborhoods that you want to focus on, really, really easy to do. Just grab a pen and a piece of paper, write down the 5 neighborhoods that you really want to focus on. Chances are that you guys have at least 5. And then what can you create around that neighborhood that is going to position you as a local expert? So here's an example of a post one of our clients did. Actually, looks like this was early 2025, January. And the reason why I'm using this as an example is because this page continues to get organic traffic to George's website. The content on this page is really sort of hitting some hot buttons that it's essentially triggering Google to show this content when people are looking for pricing information for homes in San Diego. So optimal time to sell your San Diego home. Now, I mean, San Diego is a fairly large city, but it just happens to be his primary service area. So he has a lot of content around this particular city. And he's built many articles on buying and selling in San Diego. This particular topic really resonated with his audience, right? He gets a lot of traffic. And the post itself contains It contains information, but it also contains graphics. It's got some video in it. We have some other offers here on the right-hand side. It's not just about the content, it's about how the content is presented. So that is a good example of how to establish yourself as a local authority, just using a simple blog article. So what are the 5 types of local content that can generate immediate authority? Well, if we get into neighborhood specific micro reports, this is another great way to do it. You take your 5 key areas and then we create pages around those areas. Now, this is just an example of what an agent did for the city of Kirkland. This is in Washington. But he's actually created a page for almost every key area that he services. And each page contains stats, it contains listings, it has some information just about the area, school districts, things like that. It's more like an information style page, but it is designed to educate the audience and really establish that George, this is another George actually that owns this site, but that he is the expert. He knows exactly what's happening in this neighborhood. So an example of the type of content that you may want to create that is neighborhood specific. Let's say you've got a report about historic downtown versus a smaller district. Why home values moved differently this quarter. Or you could talk about the 3 streets in Maple Heights where homes sell 15% faster and why. Another example could be Mill Creek Elementary Boundary Homes, the hidden premium buyers don't know about. So these are not general, right? They're very specific, but they demonstrate intimate knowledge of the micro markets that you want to serve and provides insights that sites like Zillow and general market reports, they don't offer that. And it also shows that you really are tracking the data at a granular level. And that's the kind of information that people like to see. It's the kind of information people like to share. So quick implementation for you guys, and I would take note of this, is to pick 3 to 5 neighborhoods you know really well and compare their recent sales data and identify maybe 1 to 2 unique trends or factors that you can create content on, like create a monthly market report. Maybe it's a specific style of home or a specific type of home, but that's the kind of thing that you could have created every week, every couple weeks. Put it on your blog, share it on your social media channels, and it will really give you that authority boost by doing that. Other types of content would be local lifestyle and amenity guides. So lifestyle is a big thing, especially with certain demographics. But here are some titles that are kind of cute. I think that you could take any of these areas and interchange them with an area that you have. But the West Side Parents Guide, best coffee shops with playground views. Perfect if you're targeting young families or move-up home buyers. Downtown Professionals Lunch Map, 7 spots with reliable 30-minute service. I like that one because, again, you can focus on a very specific area, specific type of home, and a specific demographic type of buyer that you're going after, young professionals. Dog Owner's Guide to Riverside, off-leash areas the city doesn't advertise. There's a lot of people who care about off-leash parks and where they can walk their dogs. People are thinking about those things, right? When they're picking the next neighborhood they want to move to. The last one, 5 Maple Heights walking routes that avoid the morning school traffic. So you'll notice that these articles have nothing to do with real estate. Okay, they have everything to do with local lifestyle. So it works well because it shows that you live and you breathe in that community, right? It provides value beyond real estate stats and transactions, gives you content or gives your audience content that they may want to share. And it also demonstrates that you have that neighborhood expertise. So again, quick implementation of this. Grab your pen, list 5 favorite local spots in each area that you serve. You can ask your friends or your residents, past clients, people you know, for hidden gems. You can create seasonal guides like that have to do with summer activities, winter activities. Include your own personal recommendations. There's a lot that you could do with this, and it could be fun, right? You can have fun with this, which is just an added bonus. Another example of content here, historical context and future development intel. So this is really, I would say, could be very powerful. It shows that you have long-term market knowledge. So here's some examples. Why the old railway corridor will transform property values in 2025. The 1920s architecture boom that made Elm Street homes appreciate faster. City Council approved how the new community center affects nearby home values. The zoning change most Riverside homeowners don't know about. This type of educational content, knowledge-based content, really demonstrates your connection with the city and the planning, and it's current. Again, that can also be very shareable. So take a moment to research, as you're planning out your content calendar, research some of the most recent news articles for your area, right? When you're doing a Google search, instead of just doing a general search, look for news specifically, because that'll show you the most recent up-to-date articles on the area. And you could even take it one step further and maybe interview somebody who's involved in the project. Like try to find other local experts that can also add to this. It really can help to give you that authority boost as well. And then, of course, seasonal local living tips. So having content around specific seasons, it just shows that you are involved in the community all year round, right? It's practical. It also demonstrates that you have knowledge of the local challenges that happen depending on the seasons. It gives you the opportunity to also get into other businesses that you can recommend as part of it. So in this case, the examples here, we have Maple Heights Winter Prep, why your gutters matter more than elsewhere. Matter more than elsewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure about that headline, but that could also give you the opportunity to then link to perhaps a local partner or an affiliate that does that type of work, right? That can clean out the gutters. Spring in Riverside, the 3-week window when foundation issues surface. Perfect opportunity to then partner up with a foundation company that can weigh in on some of the things that happen in the spring, especially if you're in an area where there's a lot of snow. There's usually a big thaw that happens in the spring. That's when a lot of leaky basements happen. So that's another way to sort of tie in a local business. Summer downtown living, managing noise from the festival district, fall winterside guide, when leaf removal becomes a neighborhood relations issue. So these are all creative ideas that honestly, you can look to AI to help you with, right? I mean, by all means, you can go ahead and do some brainstorming and jot down some ideas. And I absolutely encourage you to do that. But there are also some really good prompts that you could just put into ChatGPT and it will give you everything you need to get started with a really good article. Okay, so let's get into, oh, there was one more in here. This was number 5, local market trend predictions. So this really is educational content that forecasts what's happening, what's going to happen in the local market based on area-specific factors. And that just shows that you really understand local economic drivers, and it generates discussion and engagement. So in this case, you probably would want to identify at least 3 local factors affecting your market and research, research similar situations in other markets and make educated predictions, right? So this is something that you could do quarterly, probably. It's not an article that you necessarily have to produce weekly, but you could certainly incorporate it into a longer content marketing strategy. So that's pillar 1. Those are all really, really good content ideas. Lots and lots of ideas there, right? No shortage of articles, blog posts, newsletter items, videos, things that you could be working on nonstop, okay, all day, every day. But that's not going to do much for you unless you are strategic in your visibility and your positioning. So that gets to pillar number 2. Now, strategic visibility positioning is about systematically placing yourself where your ideal referral sources can see your expertise. Now, you all have a database, right? You all have a list of prospects. Hopefully, you've segmented your database in a way that you know who your leads are, who your clients are, who your prospects are, right? That's really important to have those different buckets. But you also want to be very strategic in where you choose to share your content and where you choose to publish it. So you want to be where people are going to see you, and you want to not necessarily be everywhere, but be visible in specific places where people who would refer you are looking for local experts. So obviously, you want to be marketing locally. This is not something that you need to be doing even maybe, well, citywide, I suppose, but certainly not statewide or countrywide, right? You want to keep that marketing area fairly tight. So here are 4 components that you can think about when you're creating your strategy for strategic visibility. Number 1, so this is kind of like an expert ecosystem where you're looking at the places that your referral sources spend their time. So here on the left, we have our digital spaces, places like YouTube, local Facebook groups, LinkedIn, local networks, Google My Business, Nextdoor, right? We want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on these digital spaces and trying to post your content and share your content in those places. And then we have our physical spaces, obviously schools, local businesses, community centers, coffee shops, civic organizations. A lot of these places have billboards or places where local businesses and community things get posted. Keep an eye on those bulletin boards, right? Maybe you can post something there. Maybe you could have like a QR code that links to an article that is going to be very relevant to what's happening in that place, right? Talk to your local coffee shop owners and see if maybe it'd be okay for you to leave a brochure or a little pamphlet or some educational content for for their patrons to view. And And this is just a small list, right? There's obviously more places that you could be marketing. The Google My Business is an important one. I don't want to gloss over that too much because often when people are looking for you or they're looking for real estate in your area on Google, which is still I would say, the primary source of information where people get their information online, the Google business page is going to be at the top. So if you don't currently have a Google business online, you're really missing out on an opportunity to be found organically. So that is very important to have that set up, and then make sure that you are putting in that helpful content. So it's not enough just to have the Google business page set up with your address and your name and your phone number and a link to your website. You can actually post articles, you can make offers, you can have a lot of different things happening in that particular listing. So use it, right? Use that as a way to deliver your content. But your website is obviously where this content is going to live, okay? That's super important. We want to make sure that all of the stuff that we create, all of the helpful articles, educational content, videos even, they're all in one central location. And then we can use these places to drive traffic to that location. So I do want to make that clear, that that is a very important part of it. But let's say you're posting something on your community center bulletin board. Instead of just posting your business card up there saying, call me for real estate needs, maybe have perhaps a little postcard or something that says, heads up, Riverside residents, the city just approved speed bumps for Oak Street, right? This should help with safety concerns and may positively impact property values for families and kids. Happy for families with kids. Happy to answer any questions that you have about infrastructure or changes that could affect your home's value. So that is a much better way to position yourself as an expert than just saying, call me if you have any real estate needs, right? It's a lot more compelling. And then we get into SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. This is how a lot of people start their real estate journey, is by doing a search. And as a digital marketer, I spend a lot of time looking at keyword searches and researching that. And there definitely is activity for search terms like best real estate agent in city name, or real estate expert reviews, or condo specialist in this area. So you want to make sure that you have content on your website that uses that keyword content. And that kind of gets into our next section here, which is the social proof stacking. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense for you to write an article about you being the best real estate agent in your area, right? That's not necessarily what we're going for here, but you do want to have an element of social proof on your site where other people are saying that about you. That's where testimonials come into play. Okay, that social proof is extremely powerful, extremely important, and you can stack it. So level one is kind of the basic, right? A lot of you have this already. Client testimonials, maybe you've got your transaction volume, how many years you've been in business, professional certifications. That's sort of like the minimum. That's typically what most agents have in their About Us section. Now, level two is also incorporating media mentions, speaking engagements, awards and recognition, professional associations. So if you have any one of those, that's automatically going to bump you up into that level two category. Level three is now you're really getting out there, you're participating in the local events, you're volunteering, You've got local partnerships. There's so many ways that you can leverage this. Now, I know a lot of you are already doing this, right? This kind of is what you do, right? You get out there in the community, you volunteer, you participate. But what I'm saying is you need to show that proof that has to be demonstrated on your website. So whether it is perhaps, writing up an article about something that you participated in, or getting one of your local businesses to partner up with you on something, maybe a local mortgage broker or a title company or something, right? You need to have that social proof that is evidence that you are involved and you're connected in your community. And then level 4, this is where you get into that expert realm, and you're visible. You're there as one of the thought leaders in this area, right? You've established yourself as an expert and people perceive you that way. And when you get to that point, that's when you'll start to see the effects happen, right? You'll start to get invited to more things. You'll have more speaking engagements. You'll have more people reaching out to you, more of those come list me calls, because everyone knows who you are, right? You are the expert in the area. They want to work with you. That's a great place to be. And it just requires some time and a system to make sure that you're doing the right activities, you're making the right moves to kind of get yourself to that place. So here's what we like to call some referral triggers. This is content that makes people say, you have to call my agent. And this is about, creating specific content moments. They're so valuable, they're so impressive that people naturally want to share and recommend with you. So there is some psychology to this, of course. There's referral triggers and there's emotional triggers. Now, information that kind of surprises people is, I would say, definitely a trigger. Solutions to problems that can offer some relief to somebody. The content that makes locals proud of their area, or perhaps that sense of urgency, time-sensitive insights that help people act. So some of these ideas, right? Like the insider reveal, the zoning secret that makes Pine Street the best investment in town. You could be the problem solver, the future predictor, the local champion. This is what gets into that expert realm. And most agents they're not visible in local conversations. They're too generic. So it just doesn't build authority. Whereas local visibility, consistent local presence creates that top of mind awareness. And it creates a lot of value for your audience. And it positions you in a way that makes people want to refer you and work with you. So when somebody hears from their friend or their neighbor or whoever, I'm looking for an agent, that person can very easily say, I know a guy, right? I know somebody who's they're a local champion. They are a problem solver. They've been sending me content for the last 3 years that has been extremely helpful, extremely informative. Way easier for people to refer you and recommend you when they have been getting this type of information from you and they've been seeing you as an active participant in the community for that period of time. Now, pillar 3 is the community integration strategy. So community integration, it kind of moves you beyond just those networking events and transactional relationships. It's about becoming an integral part of your community's ecosystem, someone whose absence would be noticed and whose presence adds genuine value to the community fabric. Now, let's take a look at some of these components, okay? So this is, again, beyond the networking, becoming an integral part of your community's fabric. So here's what traditional networking looks like. You're attending the monthly chamber mixers, you're exchanging business cards at events, maybe you're sponsoring little league teams with your logo, you're showing up to be seen. Community integration looks a little bit different, okay? That is when you are the person that others call when they need that local information. They are going to seek out your opinion on community issues. You're going to be invited to those private community discussions. And people are going to be thinking of you as a neighbor first and an agent second. So here's this mindset shift. Okay, I'm going to read this out because I want to make sure everyone's paying attention to this. You want to go from asking yourself, how can I get business from this community? To, how can I make this community better? You want to go from, who can I meet who might refer me? To, how can I be helpful to the people I meet? And then from, what events should I attend visibly? To, what community needs can I help address? So that is the shift, right? Where your primary goal is to actually help the community be better, address the community's needs, and really be a helpful person to the people that you meet. Which I know that you all are, right? It's just there has to be a bit of a mind shift when you are trying to just be that integral part of your community. And every community is different. I know that some of you live in big cities, some of you live in small towns, some of you are new to an area, right? But I think that no matter what your situation, as a real estate expert in the area, you have to be an integral part of your community. I think it is absolutely essential as to be a successful agent. That just has to be a part of it. So I love this one, the collaborative authority, partnering with other local experts. This is where you can create strategic partnerships with other local professionals to build that collective authority. And when this works, it works so well, and there's just wins all around. So when you create this referral ecosystem, that really benefits everybody. So who are the people that you can target to create this collaboration, these local partners? Let's take a look at some examples, okay? So in real estate, you definitely want to be connected to financial services, local mortgage brokers, financial planners, insurance agents, local banks, and also home services, contractors, interior designers, home inspectors, landscapers, legal and professional, real estate attorneys, estate planning lawyers, local notaries, property management companies, and lifestyle services, moving companies, cleaning services, security system providers, local utility connections. You guys know these businesses. You've dealt with them, right? Write them down. Get a strategic partnership in play. Create pages for them on your website. We are right on the cusp of launching a product that is actually going to help you do this beautifully, okay? And I just want you to put a pin on that because we're going to be telling you all about it very soon. If you remember, I had our founder on a call with me probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Steve Raitt. He went through it all, and it is very, very close to a public launch. So we're very excited about that. But this is the time to prepare your strategic partnerships and write down those businesses that you want to build, you want to use to build that collective authority. Because it'll be an absolute benefit to everybody. And of course, pillar 4, systematic referral activation. We want systems. We want this to start running on its own and gain momentum. Now, I'm going to break it down into 4 components for the systematic referral activation. First, get into that referral ready mindset. Start preparing every interaction for potential referrals, okay? Get out of that transactional mindset. This is about setting the table, setting the stage for future business, future referrals. Prepare every interaction for that potential. Number 2, creating shareable moments in your daily practice. This has to do with going above and beyond when it comes to how you communicate with your clients, how you impress them, how you help them, how you make your service memorable. Clients naturally want to share those experiences with others. So surprise them beyond their expectations, solve problems they didn't know they had, make them look smart to others. Create that emotional connection to the experience and demonstrate clear expertise that they can then brag about. So create those shareable moments and always be looking for ways to do that. Number 3, follow-up system keeps you top of mind. Okay, this is where we get into the CRM automation. This is where I like to live and breathe and set systems up. So the strategic follow-up framework can be broken down into these 3 groups to start. Now, I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all, but this is an excellent start. So having communication sequences that help you maintain relationships past clients into your sphere, keep you positioned as the go-to real estate expert. You'll remember when I first got into this, how only 11% of buyers and sellers trust agents. It's because the agents aren't doing a good enough job of sort of keeping in touch with them after the deal is done, or the communication is just not what it needs to be. But you should have an immediate post-transaction plan. Okay, these are a series of touches that happen after the transaction is done. It can go on for 30 days. And then have a quarterly authority reinforcement. So every quarter, every 3 months, you're going to be sharing neighborhood market report with personalized insights, local community updates, fall trends, year-end market review. So that should also be going out to all of your past clients. And then annual relationship touch points. Get those anniversary dates into your CRM. Send out those birthday messages, holiday greetings, community events. I know a lot of you have holiday events, client appreciation events. That's great. I mean, that's exactly what you want to incorporate into your framework here. But make sure that you use it as leverage, right? You use it as a marketing tool and a way to share these moments with others. And then last, measuring and optimizing your referral generation system. So some tools for doing that, of course, for systems and tracking, CRM integration, make sure that your contacts are categorized, make sure you're tracking all touch points, make sure you know exactly where your leads are coming from, and then have a lot of that follow-up automated. That can all be done. We can help you with that because we can certainly load that content into the CRM in a way that will make sure that it gets delivered when that person is triggered as a post-closed client, right? Or an active client, or maybe part of your sphere of influence. This is where the contact categorization is really, really important. All right, so I know we're running out of time here. I'm going to start to land this plane a little bit, and I'm going to give you a 90-day local authority action plan. I know I've gone through a lot of information, a lot of ideas. There is definitely some work that needs to be done here to make all of this happen and make it all work for you. So let's just walk through the different phases, okay? And we're going to use 90 days. Now, personally, I would give it a good 6 months to get this foundation in place. But that's a lot for us to go through in 5 minutes. So we're going to do a 90-day authority action plan. So let's say phase one. Phase one is the first 30 days. So that's where we're going to look at your local market. Okay, we're going to do an assessment of what you are currently doing and how can we make it better. So that means auditing all of your online material, checking you out on Google, doing some searching, seeing what you come up, like if you come up for local keywords, and then also researching your top 5 neighborhoods, the top 5 neighborhoods you want to dominate. And then maybe identify 3 of your main competitors and analyze how they're positioning themselves. You can also survey past clients and try to get a feel of how people perceive you, and how they look at you, as whether or not as a local expert, basically what the perception is. So you want to spend a good month doing that research. That also can include, writing some community articles, getting a monthly newsletter in play, making sure that all of your leads are tagged and categorized properly. That should all happen within that first 30 days as well. Now, phase 2 would be day 31 to 60. Again, it's a 30-day window, but this is where we start to distribute the content. So we want to make sure that we've got a steady stream of content rolling on your site, blog posts, newsletter articles. If you have new listings, we're going to create pages for them. Any videos that you create, we're going to create pages for them, special reports, all that. Okay, so we're going to have that content. It's happening, it's rolling. Now it's time to distribute. So we want to make sure that we're getting that content out. Now, email, of course, is one. Make sure that we're emailing actively to your list, sharing that content. But we also want to share it on our digital media platforms, social media platforms, Google business page, and then also start to look at SEO. So anytime you add new content to your website, that actually helps you get found organically. Google likes to match up search terms with content. So the more content you have, the more likely people are going to find you organically. But we can also be very strategic in terms of certain keywords that we're using, neighborhood specific keywords, and then having all that also be consistent on your social media channels. And then phase 3, this is basically month 3, let's say. Now we're doing the multiplication. And that's where we are really just trying to amplify and multiply what we're doing. So we're going to continue to create that content, bi-weekly, monthly, and then also reach out to other businesses, create those local partnerships, try to maybe create exclusive local market intelligence for VIP clients, schedule some events, launch referral incentive programs for past clients and professional networks, maybe implement more advanced CRM strategies, for that referral cultivation. And yeah, I mean, maybe have like a home buyer seminar, things that are going to, again, just establish you as a neighborhood expert, get you out in that neighborhood and get you in front of people, get you talking to people, get you top of mind, right? People are thinking about you. So we always want to take a strategic approach to this. This is certainly not a one and done type of thing. We want to make sure that these things are happening consistently along the way. So whether it be who we're targeting, how leads are coming in, how the automation is working, how we're retargeting, these things all work together as part of the system and as part of the strategy. And each stage requires specific tools, right? Obviously, you need a CRM. You need a website that you can edit and you can get in there and create blog posts and landing pages. You need a CRM that can also automate a lot of these things and send out those plans. And that's what we do. Okay, so if this sounds like something that you feel like you need, and hopefully many of you are in that camp, you feel that you need this and you need help, that's what we do. So the Content Accelerator is a new program. We are still accepting people into it. We did have a cap of 30. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So the Content Accelerator is a done with you content marketing service, and it is designed to take you from being perceived as a general agent to a local expert. It's also designed to help you show up organically for local keyword searches and also close that referral gap and activate a reliable referral system. So here's what you get. Okay, it's only $49 a month. That's US. In Canada, it's a bit more. But for 49 bucks, we'll get you a personalized strategy. So this is a custom content calendar that is going to be based on the neighborhoods that you want to target, the people that you're competing with, and your goals. Okay, we're not supplying you with just a generic template that just has very generic content. We want this to be hyper targeted. You're also going to get the done with you approach. So we're not just going to give you information and then disappear. You're going to have somebody on my team working very closely with you to implement everything properly. Now, if you have a success website, that does make things a bit easier. We can go in and plug this stuff in for you, get it all set up for you. If you don't have a success website, if you're using a different site or a different CRM, we can still work with you. We can still get you the content that you need. We're still going to be there to help you implement. It's just we won't have the same level of access is all. So that's something to think about. And then you do get direct access, right? So you're going to have a monthly strategy call. You get email support, text support. So if you're ever feeling stuck or confused or you're not sure the next steps, you can reach out to a live representative, a live person who is familiar with your plan and your goals, and they can walk you through the next steps. And we're also going to give you the specific strategies you need, right, to own your neighborhoods and search results and become the obvious choice. So if that all sounds good, I highly recommend you get started. As I said, we are filling up pretty fast. We don't have a lot of spots left, but you can sign up by going to successwebsite.com/content accelerator. Maybe Sobi, I can put that in the chat so you guys can get there directly, and that will save your spot. Okay, there is an option to go ahead and purchase it right there on the website. I encourage you to do that. That makes things a little bit easier for us in order of processing your order and whatnot. but you can at least go to that page, check it out, see if it's something that you want to do. And keep in mind, if you start in August, that'll pretty much take you to the end of the year. So that could be potentially a great way to end 2025 and get yourself really primed and ready to dominate your market in 2026. Hopefully, will be a better market, better year. Things will turn around, fingers crossed. But at least you'll be doing the work that you need to get everything set up for yourself, really to prime yourself, to start getting more of that referral business, and just being much smarter in the way that you're positioning yourself to your local marketplace. So again, successwebsite.com/content-accelerator. Thank you, Sobia, for putting that link in the chat. And I went a few minutes over, but that's okay. Thank you all for joining me. I know I did a lot of talking today, but hey, that's what I like doing. As I said, I like teaching everyone how to do these things, and I love to see when they actually go into action and start to see my clients reap the benefits of doing this. I mean, that gives me a lot of satisfaction. So that will be it for today. I, again, will leave you with my contact info. If you do want to reach out, I would love to have a chat with you. And we are recording this, so you will be able to go back onto our site through our Agent Secrets and view this content. But hopefully, we'll talk to you before that, and we'll start working with you very soon. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.